Lyvation, ENT.
It's so good that Lyvation conversations can bring people back together, that went separate ways over the years and reconnect, because the network is forever growing. And it just goes to show, that we've all come a long way and we've all been doing good work because we're still dealing with good people. With that being said, I just want to introduce myself. This is DJ Strong reporting live from the 3 a.m. studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. If you are local, you want to get some production done, hit us up, 3amstudios.biz. Just check us out. Even if you're around the world, we got email. Holler at us. We can send some files back and forth and get some good work, good production work done for you. So don't forget to check us out, 3amstudios.biz. With that being said, I want to introduce our West Coast affiliate. Scrapp Loc is on with us today, a.k.a. Scrappy. He is in the building. He's going to be coming with some good information today and some great questions for our special guests. We also have my man, K Wise. Yeah, what up, man? Glad you could tune in with us today, man. Thanks. We also got our brother, K Wise. He's on location right now. He's going to be checking in with us a little later.
Peace.
Right now. Hey, peace, brother. How you doing today?
All well. How's everybody?
Oh, everybody's blessed, man. I know you're busy and you're making moves for the network. So, just, whenever you get a chance, brother, just tune in. You know what we do.
True indeed. One love, man.
All right.
One love, brother.
All right. We also got our resident author and record executive himself, Mr. L.A. Jackson, is with us today. L.A., how you doing, man?
I'm fine, my brother Strong. Welcome to our normal crew. Welcome to our special guest. And boy, do we have a treat today. I tell you what, it's always great to go back into our past and dig up great people. It was just my boss's birthday on Tuesday, and I sent him a card last Friday or last Thursday, and then he thanked me by text on Tuesday morning, and then I called him up and wished him happy birthday. It's like, this was the last person I worked for at Sony. He gave me a bass guitar for Christmas. It's just great to have these old relationships. Even working with you, Strong, we go way back to WATB, and I remember when Ben introduced us, and you were living way up in Norcross, and it's just great. It's refining, and it always makes me a bigger person to be able to have my old people from the days. And with that said, I want to another cat I've known for dozens of years, decades, a very heavy hitter in the industry. I wrote about how important record pools were in my book, and now it transgressed to digital record pools. This guy has such a story to tell. I'm not even going to say the other half of what Wali represents. I'm going to let it come out of his mouth. All I can say is M-O-M, but welcome to our special guest, Wali from the Jumpin' Jack record pool.
Hey, let's give somebody a big hand, man. Give him a big round of applause.
Thank you. I appreciate. I gotta always humble myself down, and before God, before man and God. So hey, man, thank you, brothers. I feel the love, man, and I'm gonna try and show it back to you. Scrappy, it's really good seeing you, man, because I'm remembering your music. You was hot. That I know the rememberers, and I know who wasn't, and you was hot. They just didn't want to go with the normal way of going with FM radio, but you were very hot.
I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. And I have to salute you for being a pioneer of a way to get the average person from the streets music heard in a major way and in a major venues. That was totally cutting edge and revolutionary at the time, man. And this is 20 plus years ago. So I salute you for that, brothers.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And it did come out. We'll talk about the fruition of Jumpin' Jack, but yeah, it was when I came. Thank you. Right on. I'm a Latin jazz musician from out of New York City.
Yeah, that's the CD right there.
Yeah, and when I got here, I was introduced to some of the good brothers down at Clark College, and they were very first starting to get the jazz radio station together there. So I went on for a couple of times with my book library that I had, because they needed that, because I keep the classics. But here's the story, man. I like to tell you a little bit. It's very interesting. I love telling this because it shouldn't be forgotten. It should be used to step up on. When I came down from New York City, I was kind of crossed up between going to Georgia State University, because I came out of Queens College, and I left New York. I love New York, man, but I got to tell you, I was singing the New York song that Frank Sinatra sings. You know, it's I'm tired of being abused. I'm tired of being used. You know what I'm saying? New York, New York. I'm on my way out of here.
It wasn't the big city of dreams. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes, sir. That's it. Well, actually, no. I was always in my heart country. And I'm not saying that to be in a derogatory way, because I love the country. When I left, the fellas off 8th Avenue and all my friends and co-hosts and telling me, and the DJ and stuff, they always telling me, hey, man, what are you going to do in Georgia? Pick beans? I say, yes, I'll be a bean picking drummer for the rest of my life. I said, because you can't grow anything in this damn concrete. If you feel what I'm saying. Right. You know, so that was the main reason. When I got here, as soon as I got to the South, I got to tell the truth, I was hit with the door racist. My car broke down. My wife and I had all of the van and everything on the side of the road, and out there, the axle in my car broke. Luckily it broke down right at the door where one of my friends from out of New York, he had a farm there, and it was in Athens. I'll never forget it. And they came down and got me. Oh man, they treated me with all the love in the world, man. It was fantastic. But as I got out to see what was happening from my car, it was a bunch of European kids that was in their school bus, because I guess that's all they had to go to school at that time. And when they came by in the bus, I was like, hey, how you doing? They was going like, nigga, nigga, nigga. I said, whoa.
Wow.
You know, what are you talking? These are kids, man. You know, so that was my
welcoming party.
That was my welcoming party to Georgia. But I let them know. I said, man, I don't give a damn what y'all come here. I'm not leaving, Jack. So I've been here 50 some odd years, and I don't plan. So I call myself a New York, Georgia boy, NYGA. So that's what time it is. But I got to Atlanta, and I was playing music at the time, and I ran in. I made some music up, and I ran into a gentleman down in Miami by the name of Bo Crane. Bo Crane had the Pan-Disc record pool. So me and Bo sat down. He knew some friends of mine from out of New York, and we became friends. But at the same time, Bo was not well loved by the Afro-American community down there. So it was in and out. And he introduced me to a young fella that was a DJ, WTMP up at Tampa. And he said, hey, man, he said, I know you got to come off the road for a minute. He said, why don't you consider working, you know, he said, you're from New York, man. You would probably work good in the streets of Atlanta because you know what you're doing. So I'm, you know, like, what the hell are you talking about, man? You know, he said, man, listen, he said, we only got one record pool. And when he said we, he was really speaking about the Afro-American community. And he said, they have one record pool. So I said, well, what is a record pool? I said, you know what, I need to go get my trunks or what? You know,
about to dive in. You're about to dive in.
So he said, no, man, let me explain. He said, record pools are a group of DJs. That's like if you was in the service, you would be with the motor pool. He said, record pools are just a group of DJs that come together as a family, and they would take a record from somebody that's new that can't afford to put their music on the radio. They come to the record pool, and we would put that music out in the street to the different nightclubs. Well, I started out, and I went to all of the majors, and they told me, "What's the matter with you? You crazy? We got one record pool." I said, "This is Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, all we need is one record pool." I went to CBS, my home people. "Hey, man, all we need is one. We got one guy down there. His name is J.R. Dino. He reports and everything." I said, "Well, that's all good." But I said, "I'm quite sure, Atlanta's growing." And at that time, brothers, it was growing. It was nowhere near the numbers that we have today, without a shadow of doubt. So I said, "Well, man, this place got over 1 million people in here. They're going to need some more black promotions." I said, "One guy can't just promote." And he says, I don't know. We're not going to build. I'm not going to call the names. All of the old schools, and they told me, "Well, we're not." So I defied that. I said, "Man, I'm going," because I want to I like promotions, and I did know the street, and I took what I knew from out of the street, and I took my weaknesses along with it, and got out there, and I put up over 100 disc jockeys that were aligned with the Jumpin' Jack record.
Okay.
I didn't know what power was, brother. The record companies was knocking at my door. They were sending me little small stipend checks, and MCA told me to shut down. They pay. I ain't gonna call no name, but they paid the big boy to shut me down. But what they couldn't understand is that I was independent. I couldn't be shut down. Right. And by me not being able to be shut down, we built up. And my partner, he took another name, which was the first pool I had, which was the Atlanta Star Pool, which was my original pool.
Was that
and
Marvin
he
Howard?
built? I'm sorry?
Was that Marvin Howard?
That was Marvin, brother. That was Marvin. Marvin, I gave Marvin that pool. Marvin never took my name off of the corporation papers trying to be a real smooth guy. You know what I'm saying? But thank God I got out of that. I didn't know any back taxes on that because I still open until I went down and cut it loose and everything. But Jumping in Atlanta Star was my pool, and then I went into Jumpin' Jack record pool. But I say that to say this: if there's any young people listening, and this is so prevalent for today, is that in my time, right down to now, you got to be seriously, seriously serious. Drugs control this business. And by drugs controlling this damn business, it causes schisms in my business because I refuse to be an empire. Now, let me tell you what I'm saying when I say an empire. I didn't want a RICO. I was from New York. I knew what a RICO was. You don't sell drugs through the back door of a record pool. And I ain't going no further than that. But that was something that, for some reason it pulled a certain amount of people by having this combination. But Jumpin' Jack was always straight, regardless of whatever my shortcomings was. I wouldn't let that BS go out into the street like that. And that's what kept Jumpin' Jack good right up until this day. I did the right thing, and that's what Spike Lee had always told us. He said, "That's it, hey Mookie? Yeah, what? Do the right thing. That's it, baby, and that's all it is." I teach my kids, do the right thing, no matter what. Okay? I've sold records, I've been down the back door, but I've never sold an artist out. There's never an artist that ever can come back to me and say, "Hey man, I seen all my shit down at Wax." In fact, if you said that I put it down there, you're a damn lie, because I can prove where I put my shit at. Because that's what I had to do, because they kept eyes and scrutinized me each and every week. But we won out. And we got larger and larger and larger until I started getting older, and I had to take care of my mother. And a lot of the DJs, and my mother wasn't real sickly, but she was sick. So, but she LA knows, he knew my mom's, and he know what I'm, but she was a movie star, and she had a gift for entertainers that no matter what you were, if you was a DJ or a musician or whatever, if you was in the entertainment industry, 9 times out of 10, you, like they said, you cotton to my mother's persona. So
I'm glad you brought that up. That I have a quick question for you, just to add on to what you're saying, because your mother was known as the Queen of Swing. Am I correct?
that's correct, brother.
Let's just give our viewers a quick back history, because this is so intriguing to me, and she has a very powerful story. Can you just give our viewers a quick rundown of what we're talking about?
Sure.
Because I like how you went back to the origin of your record pool days. But let's go back to your actually life, because she gave you life. So let's start there.
Okay. And that would be Mama. That's when, by me being a musician, I didn't have to, but I chose to. I came off the road. I think I was playing with Johnny Taylor, and I came off the road with Johnny, and my mother and my father was sick, so I came off the road, and I opened up a bar up at the Hollywood Terrace, up in the tip of the ghetto. So that tells you how 8th Avenue I am. And what it was is that I took care of my mother for about 24, 25 years. So with all due respect, I got one hit record, and my entire
congratulations.
Thanks.
you said one like that was like that's that good. Like,
well,
you know,
it isn't, people, man. I never wanted to be no awesome. One hit wonder, bro.
No, bro, come on, man. That's but you have bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I got one hit.
You made it onto the playing field.
Yeah, man.
You know, I had an argument with one of my in-laws, and they come to me like, he ain't nothing but old leftover or something like that. Call me, it used to be. I say, well, baby, I'd rather been a used to be than a never was.
That's my whole point. That's my whole point. I love it.
I feel you, brother. I know where you're coming from, you know.
I love it.
But I had to stop and take care of my mother until she passed on. Now, let's talk about who my mother was. It was very important because she did open the door for people such as Spike Lee, Lee Daniels. She was in the very first co-star and the very first all-black made on the grounds of Hollywood. They dared to make this movie in a black land. It was a black movie. It was made in Kingston, Jamaica. Everything was absolutely authentic, and CLA. Everything was absolutely authentic, and she rose. And the reason why she rose is because basically she was running from family. My mother was, I guess you can say, you have to say, she's a very good-looking sister, and she had 8 other sisters, of which I loved each and every one of them. But there was one there that looks like a dark-skinned Medea, and the dark-skinned Medea raised more hell than the Medea, and that was the one. Her and the white people that owned the property around her tried to rape my mother, and my mother fought it off, and one of the brothers was in cahoots with a white guy down in Fort Gaines, Georgia, and he was in cahoots with him. He was the town furniture holder, and my uncle. And the reason why this true story is really funny, and I can certify him. My mother got away from him that day. And the reason why she got away from him that very cold and dark day is because in the middle of the fight, she bit a hole out of her brother's ass. And that hole stayed in his ass until he was dead. So when I was a little boy, this was way before my time, but then after I came in and I started visiting my grandfather down there, and we would all come together as family and talk, you know, they would have a little drink and get topsy-turvy, and then that was after that. Somebody say, show the whole Willie Mae bit in your ass back there. And so time. And that was his legacy, you know. So that's how I knew that Mama had got away, because exactly what she said happened. She bit a hole in that, and he admitted it. But they respect her after that. But now to get back to her, she was a good dancer. And she started out very young, at the age of 10, 11. By the time she was 12, the other light-skinned sisters came and took her north. To make a long story short, because I'm going to show you the book, and any of you want say ebook, I'll send it out to you for free. It won't be no charge.
Awesome. Can't wait to read that.
Yeah, and after they did that, she made it on her way up. But in the process of getting up, she was making the Cotton Clubs, the Howard Theaters, the Apollos, all of the black and white spots throughout the United States. She was, and the good part about this is when black people talk, we can't really back up what we say. Well, that's not this black guy, because I have paper clippings that go back to 1933. The papers alone are relics. And I have clippings on her life back to 1933, everything that she had done. And one day, the devil approached her. This was the demise of my mother's entire domain. Somebody, a woman, came up and smashed lie right into my mother's face, and that's what took her out. But the people that was behind her was so major that they reconstructed her face, but she did lose one eye. But she made it back to the dance floor. And when you look at the feathers that a young brother by the name of Prince has, you get that picture of Prince. And I'm gonna show you the same thing that my mother had back in 1933. That she was that's why you see she was a queen, that's why she was the queen of swing. She made most of her stuff out of different feathers from around the world, and she was known for having these exquisite uniforms, and when she danced, nobody could touch her, and that's what made her the queen of swing.
Wow.
Now there's a little bit more, but I want you guys to read it out the book.
Yeah, because you know, I think our parents, you know, help us build our characters. You know, if we have our parents in our lives, especially when they've overcome things like your mother did, and to have the talent that she did, that, you know, that's definitely transcended onto you generationally.
Oh, thank God.
So that's why I wanted to see, you know, I wanted you to share the beginning, because she was your beginning.
She was, and that's the second book that I'll be making. Will be, the name of it is The Upside of Down. That's the next book that's come out after that. To read The Upside of Down is my life underneath the domain of Willie Mae Lane, because her life was literally extinguished in the entertainment industry. That's a no-no, because all entertainers, sports people, what is the cry of all the young people today? What is the cry of Black Lives Matter today? What is the cry of all those that want victory for today in this country? Never give up. And that's what happened. She had to. She was forced to come out, and she was exiled, and God sent her a good man, my father, and he kept her in a Cadillac, kept her in her little furs and stuff. But you know what? He didn't keep the business. We didn't record for Atlantic. And the funny part that she didn't record for Atlantic, maybe 60, 70 years later, after I was brought about, I had a deal with Atlantic, brought my troupe from Japan back over, and they were ready, and believe it or not, these kids refused to come to the record signing because they were not happy. Well, I'm gonna say it like this: they were more happy with just taking that dollar out of what the next gig was.